Everyone, so how do you heal on a daily basis? How do you set up your life so that as time passes, you heal? Okay, now that's balance, that's homeostasis to get technical. Your body's built for it, but modern life, we have lifestyles that do not encourage healing. Okay, not in the natural way, because I've learned very much from really showing ancestral health in the modern world. So what I just did was I was just walking around. I found this lovely place I'm exploring. I'm always exploring new places. I love it. And it is practice for when I'm on holiday. Okay, when I have days out, when I take the kids out, and we've got summer holidays coming up soon. I know everyone's got holidays throughout the year and places they want to visit and all sorts of stuff. It doesn't matter if you're going to football, sporting events, or going to visit family or whatever. There's always places you can wander and find. And I often find places around the corner from my family and friends and stuff that they didn't even know was there. Because this is what happened to me growing up in Milton Keynes. I had no idea how beautiful the city was. I had no idea, if you know where to look. And last week I was in Canterbury and I was in Margate. I didn't know Canterbury was next to Margate, vice versa. And I'd always heard about the Archbishop of Canterbury, about this wonderful cathedral. Now I know. It's massive. I had no idea. I thought York Minster was big. That and York Minster is gorgeous. Wow. Canterbury is huge, so I literally just stopped off on the way back home, half an hour in Canterbury or something like this, but I saw the streets. They're old style, brilliant, lovely places, and I want to wander around that more when I have some money. Had no money, couldn't spend anything, but Canterbury was just massive. That's for another time. So here, what I just did was walk along, something you'll do all the time, and suddenly, woof, my ankle almost went over. Okay, that wasn't a good way of showing it, was it? So down here, there's a divot in one of these bits. Now you can see them anywhere. Now, sometimes I've always thought, how on earth did our ancestors get through life without breaking absolutely everything? Now, a lot did break, and that was really bad for them, because back in the day, if you sprained your ankle, it could actually be, and I've heard of people, they passed now, but I knew people that sprained their ankle when they were young. It never got fixed properly. It's set badly. They can never walk properly for the rest of their lives. Now, we would think that's shocking now, but that was normal just 100 years ago, 150 years ago. We didn't have any of this physiotherapy, and we certainly didn't have any of the medical advances and skills that we've got now and tools. So people actually used to be able to walk around places like this, and their ankles wouldn't get sprained. We were strong about that. Yeah, that's one thing. We were stronger. But strength is vague. And I'm even wondering, if you let me know, should I call this health or strength? So ancestral health or ancestral strength? So when I asked ChatGPT, it says, oh, no, people prefer health over strength because they'll associate strength with getting big and strong. But for me, being the best you can be is all about strength. Health comes from strength. And health builds strength, yes. But that's vagaries, that's philosophy. So here, I wanted to share this, what I was taught by a physio at Loughborough. So someone who literally teaches world-class athletes how to be world-class athletes. So I got this for like 15 quid, back when 15 quid was actually a fair bit of money. Now it's nothing. But he was literally doing it relatively cheap for students, because I was a student doing a sports science degree. And because I had that knowledge as well, working through, I was interested in physiology and whatever, I could take an appreciation of what he was doing that other people wouldn't. So I had a black and blue ankle that was in the right state, and he taught me what happens. So I'll show you here, but it won't make so sense. Once you bend over, there are different ways. Pretty much always you'll go this way, okay, instead of going out that way, and it goes down to the structure of the ankle. Now, I probably haven't shown this well, and I probably need to show it in another video, but if I do this now, people can tell me whether it's worth doing another video. But really, I'll just point you to, there's some great people at the moment who are doing fantastic work with physiotherapy, and they're putting it online, and that's the only time I've seen people at the standard this guy was. So he worked with the All Blacks. That's what he went to. I said, what are you doing after this? He fixed my ankle up. I walked in, I could barely move, and it was literally the state I was talking about. I was like that. It was just this. It was black up here and all sorts, and it was painful. And then he did a few things, and they were painful, but he taught me how the cells hadn't fixed themselves properly, and he told me how to then set up my ankle, my routine for using the ankle, okay, because we come from PE, can get technical about it, how to use your ankle and how to therefore move in life in a way that will prevent future ankle sprains. This is a guy, I said, what are you doing afterwards? He goes, yeah, I'm just going to go and train with the All Blacks. Because he was the kind of guy that you're used to seeing coming in a World Cup finals for whatever it is, and goes and fixes people, and they need to be ready within a day or something stupid. So he knows his stuff and he's practiced at it. And you could tell because it was wonderful. I thought all physios were like that because that was my first experience with a physio. Turns out none of them are like that because he's that good. It's like, wow. And I didn't have a phone like this or whatever to take notes. So later on, 10 years later, 15 years later, I'd forgotten all that, and I sprained my ankle for the same kind of reasons. Basically, my ankles were weak, they weren't being trained. So the way that you need to move should train your ankles. And the value of the fact that I'm constantly walking on stuff like this, I actually like to, it will sound weird, but I think differently about how I move. Sometimes I'll move from my hips, sometimes I'll move from my knees, sometimes I move from my ankle. Okay, people who specialize in movement will understand what I mean because I listen to people like them. You probably won't. You'll go, what on earth is he going on about? Well, that's the kind of question you ask a physio, because they're the kind of people you don't ever want to see again, and you're not being rude saying, they're going, how can I not come and see you for this again? Because whatever you see a physio for hurt. And you need them to fix it and stop it hurting and stop it hurting again. So I'll try and remember to put some of the links to those guys in this. But it just made me think, blimey, did you know that actually there are people out there that can teach you specifically how to move in a way where your ankle doesn't hurt? And I know I could feel it because once he showed me what was happening, I knew with my sports science knowledge, that's exactly how it works. What it is, he taught me that all your nerves through your ankles, all the way through your body, okay? Because you're used to hunting and whatever, that's what we're designed for. We've got billions of years of evolution that says you can't sprain your ankle while you're out hunting for food. You know, whether it's in a tree, you know, and easy to get, but actually, you know, you need to get up there. Or if you're walking across a tightrope or something like that, which is across a dam or something like that, and you need to get to the other side to get some food or whatever, you need to be able to do it. So your body's actually really well made. If you use it properly, it will then strengthen the way it should happen. Without going in deeply into it, that's actually what happens. Now, when you're moving, there are constant nerve firings going on all the time. It's called your motor neurons and neuromuscular facilitation, all sorts of technical things. I'm just terms are jumping through my head because I'm always jumping around different aspects of how a human works. Well, in your ankle, you will find that it's constantly trying to find the floor at the right space. But because we wear shoes and we always go on very flat, well-ordered terrain, which is called cities and stuff like that and paths, we don't have the rigor. We aren't used to it being all bumbly like that. Okay, so Romans, for example, you see they always have pictures of sandals, and they're going through Britain in sandals, which sounds crazy, but not shoes. You just don't see that. And they came all the way in Britain. They probably didn't get to Scotland because it was just too cold for them, I bet. But there's a technical thing of this is how you go through a landscape, and it was more like this or like that wood. It wasn't like you see the road over there. That's completely flat, built for stuff like we could walk along. So we're not used to using our ankles in that varied motion that we're supposed to. And when it varies like this, you'll find the wrist is actually basically the same setup, almost exactly the same setup as your ankles. And what you'll find is, when I've got my little one here, it's easier to show because I've got two hands free. But electrically and sensorily, neuromuscularly, whatever, you will find all sorts of information being shared at all times, and the muscles are constantly adjusting tiny little amounts. All the muscles, you've got so many muscles around there, all keeping everything just right. And the reason you have these are dactyls. So you've got like 5. That's why things were pterodactyls. They were like had 5 dactyms. So these are flanges I've got here, and the fingers, specific terms. But what you'll find is you've got all these. I can't show it because I need my little one here. Then I'd have free hands, and I can actually show you what's going on. So I think I'm going to stop there because what happened was that the second my foot detected that I was off balance, all sorts of different nerves triggered the muscles to right the ankle, to send it the correct way. You need to practice that. If you don't practice it, that won't happen. And that is why I sprained my ankle. The reason I sprained it, a bunch of reasons, is because if you get tired, then the muscles won't work as well. They aren't as strong. They won't respond in the way they should. Okay, but also the reflexes are fundamental, and the reflexes are both generally they're in your spine, but they'll be as close as possible to where they're needed. And the reflexes it's coded in your cells. It's just a natural thing that you have to practice. So the cells have to learn it. And when something happens, so when you're walking along like this, see if I can get that there. Okay, if you're going along like that, when you suddenly find that it's going to go, say, too far, there's a natural instant reflex that kicks it that way. And I've had this multiple times. Had it when I played football years ago. Once it had been explained, I could feel it. You instantly realise, because it all happens too quickly, but your reflex rights you. It goes like that. That's with your foot. And so that makes sure it doesn't sprain itself. It goes the other way. And this is the reason that it was saying how 10% of the fractures were on this side. Oh, see, no spare hands to explain. The 90% were the other side, which was basically, they would be, well, let me show you hand. They'd be like that. And it was eversion fractures. It all gets technical, you know, leave that to the physios. But how do you set up a life where you don't sprain your ankle? It is just by going out places like this, walking and taking your time and actually stepping properly. Now, I'm not going to teach you any of that in this. I've just given you a general idea, very lazily, very slowly, because I don't do this for a living, telling people how to move well. I just make sure my kids don't get hurt all the time. And that's worked really, really well, because they haven't had major injuries. They've got all sorts of little things. But they come from back from the hospital having had a check, no actual work. They haven't had surgeries and all sorts of stuff. So I'm applying the things as a PE teacher and other things that I trained as to them first. And now I'm sharing it with other people, because I just want to go out, explore the world all the way to my 90s and love it. And I see so many people who can, and they follow a very specific way of doing things that fit what you'll find on the World Health Organization site and the British Medical Association and all the good medical places across the world. Do these things and you will not need a doctor. So I'm not a doctor. I didn't want to be. I thought I'd rather not be a patient. So that's really what I spend my life doing. Is if it's fun, it should also be safe, and part of it is not spraining your ankle, knowing basics from experts about little things you can do to strengthen your ankles and work on the neuromuscular system. So get everything work together. Everything I'm trying to do here is show people how their body works perfectly if they get it to work together. So I'm just going to carry on my walk, and I'll probably find something else to talk about, because I'm always thinking about this. But I wanted a nice background. Look, see, this is a place I found today. I've already filmed one video. This is another one. It's Hartwell. It's right next to the M1. I've wanted to come here for a long time. I've now found an excuse. I've found a place, and I'll just keep exploring. May never come back. I find so many places all around the corner. But this is how I spend my time. I set up healing so that every day I have already healed from the last day. Or if not, I know how to heal this day. Okay, if you want to know more, I've got a course coming out. To ask me about that, I can set you up. You can get some time with me if you want. I can explain some of these things. I won't sell to you. I'll simply help you understand how I can help. You can get onto my newsletter, and I'll tell you what things will be coming through, because you can tell me the kind of help that you need, and I could then make something that will help you out. Okay, because I just always wanted to help people, and I'm just seeing too many people in pain that they can't fix, and doctors are struggling to fix these things. So that's a whole technical thing. Okay, so I will see you in the next one. I hope you've enjoyed this video. How can I make them better? But I'm going to enjoy this day, because it's really hot, and it's only like 9 or 10 in the morning, which isn't normal for Britain. But I know how to enjoy it, so I'll go and do that. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.